Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of FTB's Cop Talk. You know what it is, lads. It's the only place to be. The Premiership is back. The season's off. We are up and running, gentlemen. Good evening, Predz. How we doing, sir? You good?
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good.
I'm good. Thank you very much.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. R&B. How we doing, sir?
Good evening. Beautiful day again.
Lovely. Good evening, Stony. How we doing, sir?
Good evening. I'm fine very much. I'm good. Good evening, everyone.
Good. And we're going to say good evening, KV, and a special congratulations and round of applause to our boy.
Clark.
Thank you. It's confirmed. He's not a Jaffa no more. He's confirmed.
I am cold, man. You play too much.
we was worried. We was worried for a little while there.
I'm gonna keep this PG-13. You heard me?
We was worried for a little while, but we will wait until the DNA comes out, and then we'll celebrate. You know what I mean?
Don't do me like that. Don't do me like that. That boy got my face, man. And you got this. Hold on. You see this? You see all that?
Yeah.
That boy got all that. It's kinfolk right there, man.
Congratulations, man. Congratulations. I hope mum and everybody's doing all right. I hope the mum's doing all right and everything, yeah?
Yeah, we're definitely blessed. Thank you, my brothers. Thank you.
No problem, man. No problem, bro. It's all love. Anyway, gentlemen, we are first off going to talk about the first game of the season, of course. Have to. Fulham away, 2-1. I'm sure it was mentioned on there. I saw a clip of some guy on here talking a bit of sense about these teams when they first come up in their first 8 to 10 games. How they come out and go a bit ham at us, lads. So, come on, man. Just give us your verdicts. What happened?
Do you know what? If you don't, I apologise. If you don't mind me going first, I think, you know what? I think my prediction was either a 3 or 4-0. But I know in the previous show I did mention about teams coming up from the Championship and making it quite difficult for us. I think the last time Fulham had probably beaten us was in 2011. But the beauty of football is that stats and history go completely out the window. Mitrovic came to the shop. He gave Van Dijk smoke on the day. And it's all credit to him. We obviously looked at the amount of games and goals that Mitrovic had actually scored for Fulham. And he came to the party. So I thought it was a very good game personally. We'll break it down and we'll dissect it later on in the show. But credit to Fulham. Credit to Fulham there.
They did. Predz, what do you reckon?
Well, first of all, teach me a lesson because I absolutely caned Mitrovic last week. I said that I couldn't. I caned him last week. I said I said he couldn't move around the pitch, and then he just came out in beast mode. So I've got to be disappointed that we didn't get the win. Yeah, I hammered him KB last week. I was like, the man can't get around the pitch. He's too big. He's too stiff. And then he come and make me eat my words. So listen, it is what it is. We got a point, and we just have to try and move on and react in the right way against Palace on Monday.
Okay, Tobrise.
Yeah, I mean, credit to Fulham. I think they probably even deserved the 3 points, to be honest. Mitrovic, that's probably the fittest I've seen him. He was really manhandling Van Dijk. He kind of knew where our weak points were, and we just looked very sluggish, which was very unusual. And Nunez came on and saved the day. But again, all credit to Fulham. I thought it was going to be an easy 3 points, but again, I've always said this is why we love the Premiership. A lot of people would have lost money, and the kind of bookmakers would have made a lot of money because literally everyone would have thought that that was a kind of easy 3 points to Liverpool. But no, I'm expecting a lot more from Liverpool now against Palace.
Okay, and KV, what did you make of that then?
I've got a couple points to make. First of all, from reading the press and listening to what Klopp had to say, I think the team wasn't ready anyway. He had pre-season games that he wanted to do, so I think he could see the team wasn't up to speed how he wanted them up to speed. Second of all, that boy, from what I saw of the game, I didn't watch the whole game. Saturday was the day I changed my life, so I get to watch the whole game. I saw bits, and that boy up front for Fulham, Mitrovic, yeah, he was one of the only strikers I've seen that's not intimidated by Van Dijk. A lot of strikers talk that gas, when they come up against the big fella, they see his presence and they shoot, and their head goes down. They lose composure. But Mitrovic, boy, he brought the game to Van Dijk, which I hope is an opener for Van Dijk, because sometimes he's a bit too casual. He's a bit too, I don't want to ruffle my ponytail tactic. He needs to cut that out of his game.
Yeah,
the other
he's
point,
not tested, man. He's not tested. That's why.
Yeah, exactly. The other point I want to make is I was worried that losing Sadio Mane was too big a loss, and Nunez didn't really excite me as a replacement, as a forward. But when he came on and his energy and his directness, he changed the energy from what I saw of the opposing of our attack. He was an outlet for Mo Salah more than Bobby was. So he's got me a bit excited. I don't think there's anything to worry about or panic about. We should really have a moment to just reflect on how good Brighton were against Stony United. Let's have a moment for that quickly. Hold on.
Can we have a moment of silence, please?
Let's have a moment to talk about how Brighton were, because they had strength in pre-season. I couldn't believe it. And you can't look at Brighton and it's the same old story. But this is a Liverpool program, so conversation, man. Listen, it's a Liverpool program. So as for us, I don't think anything to panic about. I think the Palace game will go again.
Yeah, cool.
KB's right on that. I don't think there's anything to worry about. It's the first game of the season. We got the draw, but before Arti obviously gives us his view and rundown on the game against Fulham. If there's any Fulham supporters out there tuning into the show, you have an absolutely wonderful player in Polinas in central midfield.
I'm telling you.
I'm telling you, listen, I'm not saying that I've got world knowledge or global knowledge on as much players as you guys or anybody tuning into the show. I had very little knowledge on Polinas. What I will say is, Fulham, you have a player there in that central midfield player there. He absolutely, Polinas, the Brazilian. They played Fulham played a 4-2-3-1 against us. Polinas played in central midfield, primarily on the right-hand side as a screen. Very, very, very good player for Fulham. Even though Mitrovic got the 2 goals for Fulham, Polinas was my man of the match for that game. Over to you, Arti. Tell me what your viewpoint was for Fulham versus Liverpool.
Yeah, for me, it's a difficult one to pick between the two of them, to be honest. But watching the game, I saw that he was a good player. But when they do it on Match of the Day and then they start highlighting certain points again, you're like, oh yeah. This guy was on stuff, man. He was on stuff. And he just did what it says on the tin. And he made it look good as well. I was very impressed with him. But also, I was very disappointed with us. It was like, I can't remember who was it you said. I think it might have been Predz who said that we looked sluggish. And it's true, we did. It's like we didn't really get out of second gear. Yeah. And then it's like, for a little 10-minute spell there, we created like a 3 chances or so. We was all over them, but we just wasn't consistent with it for some reason. We did it for a little while, then we fell back again.
Well, the thing was, I think up until 47 minutes, Fulham were out there smoking cigars and they were drinking Buffalo Trace, which is a nice Kentucky straight bourbon tequila, right? Because not even with ice, brother. They were out there drinking straight shots. You know what? From the palm of their hand. They didn't even walk in no glasses. From the palm of their hand. When Fabinho came off in the second half and Henderson then became our number 6. Because I'm being fairness, right? Up until 19 minutes, I think Henderson, his first touch of the game was on 19 minutes, right? And then in the second half, when Fabinho came off and Henderson came on number 6, and then I think it was Milner came on as well, didn't he, in the second half? Yeah, and then obviously Nunez came on as well. That's the only time that we actually looked like we were actually in the game. Up until then, I'll be honest, I absolutely love my club. Fulham ran the show. We nothing prior to
Don't
that
you
moment.
think? Don't you think up until the
transition with those players, Henderson came at number 6, Milner came on, Carvalho came on, and Nunez came on. That's when we actually looked like we were in the game. But I'll be honest, you know what? I was very, very, very happy we got the draw. I know I shouldn't publicly say this, but I don't feel no way. In my opinion, we were very lucky to actually come away with 1 point instead of 0 from our first fixture of the season.
That's being real, because that's how I feel. I feel that personally we were lucky to come away with a point. We were lucky.
Don't you feel that our intensity? We had no intensity up until the 51st minute. No, that's what I'm saying. There was no intensity in our play until the 51st minute when Nunez and Harvey Elliott came on. Up until that point, you know, we had no intensity. No, it wasn't our usual game, and it's hard to understand why it wasn't, because they were all tried and tested players in the first half. They knew the job, knew how we would need to play, regardless of how Fulham wanted to play or did play. Liverpool simply did not arrive. Was there complacency?
I don't think so. You know what? The way that we actually started the game, we looked like we had actually. It was the night after a heavy stag do out in Prague. We were sluggish. We looked second best to every single thing out in the field. And I agree with you, Predz. Our starting 11, we should have came out with a smoke. I am not being critical of Bobby, but Bobby was non-existent in that first half. And as we said, Henderson didn't touch the ball until 90 minutes. I know people may look at, there's a lot of people who are constantly looking to bash Trent. Mitrovic, the way that he actually got over Trent for that header, I thought that was credit to Mitrovic. He actually wanted it more than Trent for that goal, but we just looked second best in every single area in the pitch. And as I said, credit to Marco Silva in the way that Fulham actually set out, and credit to Mitrovic because the way that he actually approached the game, he came to Van Dijk as if he thought Van Dijk was Harry Maguire. He came with absolutely no respect. The way that he was actually ready for, it's very, very, very rare that I've seen a forward or an offensive player actually come to the duel and actually be ready for Van Dijk. And a credit to Mitrovic. You know, we're not saying, we're not saying that that Van Dijk has lost the pace. We're not saying that he's 1% away from the world class and elite level that we know that he is. But Mitrovic was ready for him, and that's obviously I can only see all of the positives for Fulham approaching it. I'm not worried about Liverpool, by the way. I'm not worried about them at all. I'm just making that clear. But I'm saying Fulham came with their preparation, and they executed it to a T. And I would say credit to us and credit to Klopp. But it's only once we made those changes in the second half that we were able to play in the level that we expect our club to actually play. So yeah, it was a combination of two things there.
So KV, as Stony said that VVD, we're not saying that he's dropped off or whatever, but Mitrovic was ready. So Mitrovic comes out and he's ready. Why doesn't VVD step up?
I think as we know before, I just think he wasn't up to speed. Too casual, typical Van Dijk kind of, you know, thinking that, you know, he can make up the pace afterwards or get a foot in the last minute. I think Stone's absolutely right. Mitrovic was on smoke and Van Dijk wasn't ready yet. He just wasn't up to game for whatever reason. I don't think there's anything to worry about. I think it's a wake-up call for Van Dijk because last season Matip was the better centre-back for me whole season. We can't. I'm not going to go with the fact that he just come back from a long injury because he had a whole season. They've had a pre-season, but I don't think from Klopp's comments, I don't think he thought the team was even ready for that. I think the game come too early for them, according to what he had to say. But no excuses. Van Dijk just he can't up against a striker that was ready to go toe to toe with him, and we don't see that too often.
Gonna send a massive shout goes out to Mr. Mark Foster once again. Always doing massive work in the background for Kop TV. So do remember, people's out there, if you're on there, like, share, and subscribe so you don't have to miss out, yeah? And Mark Foster's one of the reasons why we have now over 200 subscribers, gentlemen. So well done, gentlemen. We're getting
Thank you very much.
Next aim now, as Mr. Solo says, is we're aiming for that 500. Okay. Joe Evans is saying they were up to speed when they beat City 3-1, so I just don't accept that they weren't ready. Love Klopp, but didn't rate his interview afterwards. Excuses.
I agree with that.
Yeah. I do agree with that.
100%. But Tobrise, why weren't we up to speed? Then? We was up
I agree
with City, but not with Fulham.
What I
Is
want
it
to say,
level of opposition.
I mean, I would hope to think, as professional and elite players, they didn't think that it was going to be an easy game or easy 3 points, but that's how it looked. Exactly what KV said. Sometimes Van Dijk does kind of have that lazy type of defending style, and Mitrovic literally had his number. Am I worried? I have to disagree with what Stony and KV have said. Yes, I am worried. We dropped 2 points. We lost the season, or we lost the league by 1 point last season. And if we would have converted that draw against Brentford into a win, we'd be current league champions. So again, with no disrespect to Fulham, it's a game where we have to win. Drew. Sorry.
On paper, you have to win.
Yeah, but I mean, if we
don't apply yourself.
True, but 100%. And literally, I don't know if we went into it, complacent, but we drew too many games last season, and now we've started off with a draw against a newly promoted team. So, am I worried? Yes. Do I still think that we're weaker without Mane? Yes. So and again, now with the injuries that we kind of have now, certain things are now coming to light. Can we sustain the pace that we've done for the past couple of seasons, and surpass City? We all now see what Spurs are doing, and even Chelsea as well. It's not going to be an easy season.
Okay. You know what? To be fair, at the present, I'm not really fussed about Chelsea. They got no strikers. I'm not fussed. If they get a striker, then I think there might be an issue. But for now, for them, they got no strikers. So I'm not too fussed about them at present. So Mark is saying that we always find it hard at the Cottage. I think everybody can agree. We all know this. So why is our manager not, got onto them about this thing? Come on, lads. We always find it hard. Let's be on the point.
End of the day, we finished second last season, and they finished first in the championship. So there really isn't that excuse about whatever excuses we're using. I completely forgot about the City game, to be fair, when the boys did show up, and I think Tobrise might have knocked it on the head. Slightly, we went into the game maybe a bit too overconfident, thinking we could turn Fulham over, and Fulham just said, not today.
It's not good enough.
Do you think?
I honestly think that for us to say that we weren't ready is absolutely tosh, because they've done 6 weeks of pre-season work. They played how many games? The week prior to Fulham game, we played Man City and we beat them. So it wasn't the case of we weren't ready. It was a case of that. Yeah, we probably turned up thinking that we were going to complacent, which is a worrying sign. Okay, and two, we didn't react from the first. Yeah, we didn't react. Even like Trent gave the ball away in the first minute, which Mitrovic had a shot on and goal. From that, our intensity and our gameplay just wasn't up to scratch. And when you hear Klopp's post-match interview, how many times do you see Klopp saying, "Oh, I'm not happy"? There was something ingrained in that team on Saturday. He wasn't happy. It wasn't right. Why it was, I don't know. But the pleasing thing is, at last, we've made substitutions and they made an impact.
Do you think that, Predz, and Predz has made such a valid point there? Yeah, extremely valid point. Do you see the subs that we made? And I don't have the answer to this, by the way, right? Do you think there were 4 substitutions? Because let's think of it here, right? Fabinho had to come off, and that seemed like an injury. And Thiago had to come off, and that was clearly an injury as well. So do you think those injuries were tactical or more to do with injury-based? I mean, the one thing, as I said, I don't have an answer to that, by the way, right? But what may have worked in our advantage is because we've got a bigger squad, it means that we had more versatility and the players actually came on due to those injuries and then helped us to actually get a result. Even though at one point it was still actually a result.
True.
The players that come on as well, you have to remember, it's not like for like.
Yeah.
That's what makes it different.
He had to change the system. Yeah, he had to change. But this is a one thing I'm very worried about, and this is not the first time that Fabinho has been had up. Fabinho has been had up in the last few games, even the last few games at the end of the season. Even on the Champions League final against Real Madrid, he got beat up and got played around, and then we played against Fulham, and again, this lad who's the lad that Stony is talking about in Fulham played all over.
Yeah, they just seem to have more energy and intensity. You see, they actually pressed for 85 minutes in that game. Like, anybody viewing into the show, if you have an opportunity to please, or even anybody in the panel, have an opportunity to revisit the whole game. Remember these key things that I'm saying, okay? Henderson's first touch would have been about 19 minutes. The key changes we made were about 47 minutes when Fabinho needed to come on and Henderson dropped into the deeper position, and then obviously Harvey Elliott came on, Nunez came on, Carvalho came on to a later extent. But Fulham pressed for about 85 minutes in that whole game. We just seem to be off the mark. I don't have the answer to it. We seem to be fit against Man City. I understand it was the Community Shield and it was a friendly, but Fulham just seemed to have such more purpose coming into the game than we did.
They pressed how we normally press.
Yes.
That's what they did. And it was even highlighted that they got players around the ball. It wasn't just one person, it was like 2-3 players around there pressing, like how we normally scrap to get the ball back. But we weren't doing that. So question for you lot all. Stony's already mentioned this as well, but I'm asking the rest of you there. Was Trent at fault for the goal?
Yes. Yes, he was.
Who said that?
Yes, he was for the goal. He was flat-footed. As you're on the back post and you're flat-footed, he should not be flat-footed. That's ridiculous.
Okay.
Predz enough football.
Predz ain't having that.
No.
Please. Rebuttal.
The damage was done before the cross even came over, and you've got to be honest. At every level of this game, if a long ball goes over to the fullback, 9 times out of 10, the attacker's going to win it because the fullback he's dropping off. He should have looked over. He looked over, but Mitrovic had the run on him. It's always good. Every fullback in the world will get outdone at the back post there because they're on the standstill. They're watching. They're keeping the line. Mitrovic had a good 10 yards to actually run upon him. The damage was done prior to that.
Yeah. Trent didn't even attack the ball though. He stood still. Trent was flat-footed. He didn't even attack the ball.
As a fullback. No, but as a fullback, he can't go and attack the ball because he's keeping his line. He's keeping his line and he's running back towards his own goal. Mitrovic is facing forward. Mitrovic is facing the goal. You've got to remember, Trent is not facing the goal.
No, so but Trent's facing
the then react.
Trent's facing the football. You can see the football coming towards him.
It was a great ball.
You know what I like?
Yeah, but I've got to be honest. Every fullback will get done.
You know what, Predz? It's
every
not just a fullback.
That position there will get done.
Yeah, I mean, literally, I challenge anyone. I challenge anyone to run backwards and jump and see how high you can actually jump. There's like
You stand
there's no elevation that you will like get, no matter how tall you are. I've been beaten by someone who's 5 foot odd, and I'm 6'1" by running backwards, because they've literally just got the like leap on me. And again, we're talking about Mitrovic, who's probably one of the best headers now in the Premiership, and he attacked that ball as if he was eating yam and plantain. There was only there was only going to be one winner, and like, you know what, when Fulham probably practice those like type of balls, and again, Mitrovic is not stupid. He is going to hang on like one of like the fullbacks. He's not going to hang on Van Dijk or Matic. And in slow motion, it looks like Trent ducks, and like he looks like he's not wanting it. But again, if you've got someone who's 15, 16, let's say 15 stone of like pretty, I'd say pretty solid muscle, jumping on top of you, anyone would literally almost crouch down because of the force. You can't
jump first. He wouldn't have crouched on him.
All right. So listen, my thing with this is now, Trent could have made it a lot more difficult for Mitrovic. Number one, he didn't know where Mitrovic was. He was just watching the ball. Bad sign. Number one, you don't know where your players are. All you've done is watch the ball. You should be running side on to the goal so you can see the ball and your players. Therefore, I totally agree with you, and I've said this before. If the player's got the run on you and the jump on you, he's going to have the jump on you because he's got the run on you. But you need to then back into him and not give him that chance to have that run and the jump. You need to make it a lot more difficult for him to score that goal.
At least jump for the ball. At least.
All he was doing was watching the ball.
That's it.
And he had no idea where Mitrovic was. That's why he's like this, because it was a shock.
How do you watch the ball and not attack it?
It was a shock because he had no idea he was there.
Don't forget, guys, it's a split second. We are talking about elite teams that practice and repetition. And Fulham know exactly what their strengths are. And, again, Klopp should have known, said, you know what? They've got this, big guy up front. Let's stop the cross and then let's work around, other stuff. And the moment a ball comes flying in like that, for me, it doesn't matter who you are as a defender, the attacker will always be favorite, because again, they literally have that pattern of play where literally they can move defenders wherever they want.
Yeah, we're not disputing that. What we're saying is it could be made a lot more difficult for him, though. Rather than he's got that head out and he can just go bang and direct it. It could be made a lot more difficult for him. You know what? He could have made it could have come off Trent and gone somewhere else. Trent could have made it difficult for him where he's had to, because he's not sure what he's going to head. It's too easy.
Okay, all right. So
as a fullback there, Trent is running back to his own goal. He's looking at the ball, which he should be doing. All right, the ball's being floated over. Now, no one's told him. All he's looking at is the ball, and he's concentrating on the ball. Mitrovic has had a running jump on him. The ball shouldn't have got through in the first place. We got sliced open. I think people are looking at Trent too much and not looking at the fact that we got played through. They done overlap. They done a great cross, and then Mitrovic has done a fast stick. So I think in regards to Trent, I think he was on a hiding to nothing. But I think we're missing the point that we were too easy to play through. Far too easy to play through. On the right-hand side, the ball was in the midfield. None of the midfielders got tight when they played through. No one went with the runner who done the overlap for the cross. And Matip wasn't. Matip was in. He was in. Well, it wasn't in no man's land, but he was looking at the ball as well. And if the ball got, if it was a lower ball, the lad would actually have got the ball in the 6-yard box ahead of Matip. So I think before we go and chuck and say no, he should have made it difficult. I think we're missing the point. We were far too easy to play through. There was no intensity. There was no closing down. There was no one going.
Yeah,
you can't blame him. He said we shouldn't have let that cross in like that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And I mean, it's one of those where
Joey's saying he doesn't think it was Trent's fault. It's a mismatch at the back post. But if Trent is a bit cleverer, he could have lent into him and made it more difficult. Thank you very much. Exactly what I'm saying. It was too easy.
How is he going to? Hold on for a second. What I'm saying is, how can you back into somebody when you're as a fullback, he's looking at the ball, he's going to go and attack the ball. He's not protecting the ball. He's going to attack the ball
because he's not.
So he's going to be very hard to attack the ball and protect himself. It's very, very difficult.
At where the player
and I think
was.
if you
saying all he's done is ball watched. That's schoolboy stuff. You've not watched where the player was. Standard, and you know this as well. You coach.
Yeah, but
you run back on your side so you can see the ball and the player. Come on, Predz. You know this.
No, I listen. Listen. He's on the ball. He's his front foot. He was looking at the ball. He's as a fullback. He's looking at the ball. He's going to go and try and attack the ball, try to nod it off or anything. Mitrovic has got a running jump on him. Now there's no. He's not a fullback. Yeah. Huh?
You're like a politician. You're not answering what I said.
What was the question? Go on.
There were Boris movements, yeah? That's moving like Boris.
Oh my goodness.
All right. So
I'll be watching him too much.
We're gonna have to agree to this. I think Trent could have done better personally.
I do too.
No.
I don't everything.
We have to disagree.
Could have covered that near post better. I don't know about that. But it went to the far post, though.
Yeah, you're right. When the cross came in, when Mitrovic headed it, he headed it to the near post. Where Alisson looked like he flapped a bit, but you're right. Look, there's lots of phases from here. Are we looking at the phase where the ball should have been cut up before the cross? Are we looking at Trent's positioning? Are we looking at Mitrovic's offensive play? And then are we looking at Alisson's positioning for the goal? We can dissect it any way we want. You know what the bigger picture is? The ball got crossed, Mitrovic headed the goal in, and they scored.
Wham is saying, good evening, Wham. How you doing, sir? Nice to have you on board. Wham's a Chelsea fan, by the way, just have you not know. Good family friend of mine.
Welcome.
Wham is supporting the team, man. Respect. He's saying 100%. Many always want to get on Trent's back.
Bananas. I agree with Wham 100%. Let's look at the big picture here. He is an elite player. If he was Johnny No Mates, nobody would be commenting. The fact that he's an elite player and he's playing for our club is why people are always trying to break down the things that he doesn't do. The man is a professional and he's still learning. Let's appreciate what he can do, and the things that he can't do, I'm confident that he'll be developed to make sure he can do in the future. Praise be Trent.
I think we've got to be careful. I think we have to be careful because if you think about it, if we don't have Trent, if everyone's talking about Trent and X, Y, and Z, who would you replace him? Who would you replace Trent with in the world?
Thank you. Predz, that's excellent. Predz is so right.
Yes, every player's got a fault. Every player's got weaknesses, but he's a young lad who's still growing, still developing, still learning the game. And I'll tell you now, I would not have any other right back in the world at the moment apart from Trent.
And
100%.
And like also just to flip the script, script. If it was Trent that put that ball into like Nunez and literally Nunez peeled away to the back post and scored a header like that, we'd be praising the cross. We'd be praising how Nunez moved to the fullback and literally peeled off him and literally attacked the ball. So you got to give credit to Fulham in terms of how they maneuvered that phase of play. Because if it was Liverpool that did that, we'd be talking about again how we maneuvered this team and kind of got the crossing, and that's the reason why we actually bought Darwin because of those situations. So let's just accept that Fulham just played really, really well. They deserved to win, and we were lucky to get a point, but we still got.
True story.
Okay. So we move on, gentlemen. My next point now is while the game was going on, during the first half, one of my friends in one of my Liverpool WhatsApp groups was going crazy that we'd spent all that money and we didn't start Nunez.
Come on, listen. If we look at the history of any of the new signings that Klopp have actually made, some players take a little bit more time to settle in than others. And I'm just going to give 2 other players examples if it's okay. Okay, Robertson and Bobby. When they first came, they didn't start. They took a little while to settle in at the club. They took a little while to settle in the area. They settled in. Yeah. Oh, there you go. There you go. Three players. Thank you.
What player has got bored and start straight away?
Only I think Diaz really.
Yeah.
But
you know, we have to remember something, okay? Diaz is a young player, all right? He's going to take a little while to settle in. These are long-term investments. We are not talking about like Manchester Red Bricks here. These clubs who buy like these bubblegum players for about 1p or $1 million and they don't do anything. This is a massive club in Liverpool. Yeah, there's a bigger picture here.
Well,
He will come good. There's no rush.
Looking at what's his name, that former Stoke player. Arnautovic.
Oh, Arnautovic. You know what? I hope they buy him. I want them to buy him. You know what? Please.
They have now become the banter club. They have now become the banter club. I don't care what anybody's got to say. Arnautovic, 33 years old.
Please.
They might have been Paul Scholes and David Beckham back.
Days. So does Darwin Nunez start our next game then? Against
Why?
No, leave him bench. Bring him on when we need him.
Thank you. I agree with you, KD, because then if we do start him, are people then going to be looking at Klopp to say that it's a knee-jerk reaction? I'm just giving an example here. Is it a knee-jerk reaction? If Klopp and our coaching staff feel that he is deemed to be starting before Bobby or whoever else, then we just have to appreciate that. If not, then he will get his chance. We'll get his chance. I mean, there's no rush.
Quick question. Just by a show of hands, just in here alone, who thought Nunez would start?
Against Fulham?
No,
yeah.
I didn't.
Exactly. I knew he wouldn't start.
Tried and tested.
No brainer. It's the Jurgen Klopp way. It's very rare. Only, I think Luis Diaz, like you mentioned, the only person I know who started when we've acquired a player. Fabinho was on the bench for months.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Joe's saying, I think that when they don't start, I trust the position of the manager. They have seen all things off pitch, fitness, home life, English, all sorts.
Thank you, Joe Evans. Hit the nail on the head. Thank you, Joe.
I think
keep Nunez hungry.
You know what? I think Nunez will probably start. I think Klopp's been a little bit emotional with Bobby. I don't think Bobby's been on it for the last few before the season ended and now. And I've got to be honest. If Nunez started like that or came off the bench and played like that, why not start him? Bobby is not been playing up to his usual standards for a while now. So I think the sooner we embed Nunez in, I think the better.
Yeah. Nunez wouldn't have started like that when he come off the bench. No way.
No,
Nunez would not have started like that when he come off the bench. He'd come off the bench hungry, eager to prove a point, eager to help the team. He wouldn't have started like that. He would have been with the rest of the team in that same lethargic energy. Yeah, don't question what Jurgen's doing.
All right. Earlier on, Tobrise flipped the script. You can flip the script as well and say, boy, if Nunez starts, now Bobby's going to be hungry, saying, boy, the new boy's in there looking to take my spot. When I come on, I got to be on smoke now.
I think Bobby's got the same. Bobby and Nunez are two different games. Bobby defends from the front. He links play. Nunez is out to disrupt the defense and get goals.
But I mean, if we look at how Palace play now, they're like very mobile and very strong centre backs there. And again, we're not playing against people like big lumps now. And I think Nunez for me has to start. For me, this like sentiment of like Klopp doesn't start players because of X, Y, and Z. Okay, cool. But you know, when like Nunez comes on against Man City and like does what he has to do, he comes on against Fulham and literally gets us a point. Literally, why are we so calm about it? You know, about how things are going at this present moment in time. We need to win. Nunez at this present moment is our player in form. Yes, okay, it's a friendly against Charity Shield and whatnot and Fulham, but he's the player that's probably got the most assists and the most goals at this present moment in time. If we're kind of looking at competitive games,
of course, 100%.
So you know, we need to start him. Like we need to embed him into like the first team, squad. Like we're not spending 85 million for someone to like, hang around for a couple of months. He looks like he's ready. You know what I'm saying? Like he kind of,
Yep. And Mark is agreeing with you. He's saying, I understand why we don't start against City, but this is Fulham. Man, Nunez has to learn somewhere. Fulham was the best time to give him a start. And it's true. We don't need to be chasing City. Get Nunez on the pitch. Big shouts, Mr. Solo. He's saying 6 in the chat. It's actually 9 in the chat. Hit that like, share him, subscribe button. If he started, you may not have got that performance. It's made him hungry and hit the ground running. That's what KV said.
That's what I say.
But Mark is going back to what Tobrise is saying. 84 million for a bench player. Come on. I'm not having it.
He's not a bench player. He'll start. He'll start. When Klopp deems him.
It's nice to have the different opinions. It's lovely to have the different opinions. Every man's got a different, sees it a bit different.
Start the big man. Start the big man.
For me,
that's a start.
I'd like to see him start. To be honest, he's hungry. He's shown he's hungry. I just like his attitude from what I've seen of him. He's hungry. He wants to impress. I think we need to try and give him a start. And you know what? You give him a start, see what happens. And to be fair, right now, the next point of where I was going to anyway is we've got injuries as well. So we don't have the luxury of bringing on like a Jota. We don't have that at the moment.
Shit, forgot about Diego Jota.
There you go. This is what I'm talking about. We don't have that. And that's a 20 goal a season man. You know
yeah. I didn't forget about that boy.
So we have to. I would like to see him get a start. You know what I mean? Mark is saying Haaland starts at City. Look at him and look at the goals he got. Remember, he played when he played against us. He had a few chances, he missed them. But you know what? He's got another game now, and he's bagged a couple goals. You know what? He's starting to get your consistency, man. He's starting to get your teammates. Getting games under your belt.
And what really impressed me about Nunez as well is that he kind of gets into spaces and literally he's always sniffing out that chance. Because again, goal like he's got against Fulham, like he tried it like a couple of minutes before and literally it didn't work. But again, it's the movement, it's the repetitive nature that they do in training. And he makes the same movement and then
he done a flick with the end of the ball up in the top of the roof from a flick. Like that's some sexy shit, man. That's some sexy shit, man. That is some sexy shit. The flick and the ball ends up above him, and he meant it too. Oh,
come on. Yeah, we need to look at. Joe is still saying he agrees that he won't be as effective against the top sides. You will miss Jota more than Mane at the moment. And he's saying Haaland played at a higher level and less of a risk and more pre-season games too. Okay. Oh.
No, I think the boy's ready to play. Let's play.
Sorry, again, I didn't hear that, Predz. What did you say? Predz.
Sorry. I just said, look, like you said, Lee, the boy he's hungry, he's ready, he's hit the ground running. Let the boy play. Why are we keeping the coach holding him back?
KV.
I just think Jurgen knows what he's doing, innit? If Jurgen wants him on the bench and start and then bring him on later, that's what Jurgen wants to do. I mean, no one can tell me how to do my job.
We're
I
always
get the right ump. I get the right ump. You come tell me about my job. So it's not coming. As fans, we are very fickle and our opinion and this, that, and the other. But let's not question the big man. He's done wonders for us. He's changed match of the day for us. Shit, we were last before he came.
They saved the best for last, bro. Remember that.
2 stories.
Yeah.
I never questioned the big man, mate. I'm telling you. Never.
All right. Let's get ready to pull up.
Right. Mr. B. Good evening, Mr. B. How you doing, sir? Mr. B is part of the Man United Agenda, another part of the FTB Sports. He's saying, evening, gents. Can I ask you if you saw the Nunez assist for Salah goal? It was a blatant Lukaku first touch, which bounced to Salah.
That's your contribution. That is your contribution.
What you came in to say?
That's what you really came in to say. Sitting there in your Man United socks.
Mr. B, I'm disappointed in you, man. Come on, man. Really? Right now, you lot would love to have a Lukaku right now.
Right.
What? How much did you buy him for? Was it 113?
And they had him. They had Lukaku.
And guess what I'm saying? They would love to have him now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they have Lukaku. Jesus. Yes,
of course. They just let him go.
Cavani, Di Maria, Ibrahimovic, Ronaldo. You know what's funny, right? Is that Ronaldo said that he wants to leave. That Man United are not matching the ambitions that you know, Champions League football and where he sees himself as a global superstar. And you know, the Ten Hag he was pretty upset by that. The whole club was aggrieved by it. But Ronaldo still played on the week. I don't understand that. That's got me confused.
How do you still for team unity, a new player should always have to work their way into the team. Caveat is injury to a like-for-like or similar player. So basically, if a striker gets injured, then obviously that person comes in and plays. Like saying for team unity, he should be working his way into the team. And then Wham is now saying, though, however, after the Fulham game, he should start. What? I like that.
That's close.
Definitely, for me, I always like to go with the people who are on form. And I'm not about names. If you're on form and you're doing the biz, then for me, you need to play because you're on form and you're doing the biz. I don't care about your name.
Yeah, Predz got a point with the Bobby thing. Bobby, I said this plenty of times and I'm being shut down for it. But with Bobby's skill set, he should be doing more. That's just my opinion. I'm a huge fan of Bobby for me. Yeah. A huge fan. But his skill set, he's be doing more, man. He's be doing much more.
What skill set does though is get people like Salah and them goals. That's what happens.
True stories.
Yeah.
But
that's what happens.
He still should be putting up numbers.
No, but the thing is, what the problem is, everybody is judging him as a striker. So that's why.
He doesn't even get 10 assists. He gets like 3 or 4 assists.
He's more of a, I don't even know how to put it. I call him a baller. That's what he is. He's a baller. But everyone seems, because he's a striker, he's bought as a striker, he plays up front. So they're saying, right, look at his numbers, his goals. But he gets them assists and he makes spaces for other players as well. For them other guys up front.
Yeah, but I think with Bobby, I'm one of Bobby's biggest supporters. I love the lad. But when you had Bobby, Mane and Salah for the last few seasons smashing it, things have had to start to evolve. And where we've lost Mane, I think with Firmino, yes, he should be doing a lot more, but then I think the team's starting to evolve. I think we're going in a different direction, hence Nunez. So it's one of those where Bobby is now being looked at as a striker because you look at strikers and you look at goals, and he doesn't score enough goals.
Not 100. But this is another reason why I agree that Nunez should start, because as well, we're getting in a new direction, the team's evolving. It's going to be more difficult for teams to try and work us out and play against us. They're used to what we had before, man. They worked that out. They're used to that. Now we've got a different option. You understand? And it's an option that defenders don't like. They don't like that kind of player. He plays on your shoulder. He's willing to mix it up with you, and he's got that kind of pace. They don't like that. When you're doing what Bobby's doing and playing in front of them, it's a bit easier because now you have to turn and get by them. If someone plays the right pass for Nunez, he is by you. It's half the job done.
Yeah.
So it's another conundrum for teams to worry about.
But I think it's no surprise that teams have gone from playing that kind of false nine, and now teams are now starting to play with an orthodox out-and-out striker, and that's how the game evolves. 1 minute it's one pattern, and next it's another pattern. I don't think unless Bobby they can find a place, unless Bobby can play on the shoulder, and he's one of those forward-thinking box in the box players. I think his time might be coming to an end.
Yeah. And you know, it's very true in terms of what you've said. You know, there was that, you know, that generation or that era to a lot of our younger viewers that didn't know about Drogba in his prime, you know, and now we're seeing that evolution coming back now, that kind of Drogba-like type of player. And then, of course, you know, there was a time where Hazard would like play as that false nine, and Barcelona would like do it very nicely. And again, Liverpool fitted pretty well into that. And again, that's now being phased out now. So, it's funny how like football works, and you know now like you kind of need that focal point to literally get the goals, to like produce the goals, and exactly what you like guys have said. Defenders hate playing against someone who can you know, that literally has the opportunity to like bully them, to kind of get in behind, that can drop deep.
Got that bit of pace.
Defenders hate that.
He got the reaction he wanted. All right, bro. All right. I see you, mate. I see you. Bobby is not the same. I think he's been off for a while. Mark's asking Mr. B why they ain't playing that young Zidane kid.
Young Zidane kid.
For Man United, they got
Man
young
United.
Zidane there.
Why Man United play my nan? Wow. Young, that is young. He'll get his chance. Marcos, what's he?
What you say?
Oh goodness!
This is a family show. I know it's after 10. I know it's after 10. It's a family show.
What was that?
I will not read that out. Anyway, we'll move on swiftly. So let's get to this point now.
Yo, what was that?
Thiago, Kanate, Keita, Kumishach, Jones, Jota, Chamberlain, Kelleher, Ramsey. Keita should be back because it was only illness. He wasn't actually injured this time, so it's only illness, so he should be back. But
hold on. Time out.
Yeah.
Stop.
He's injured. That's the injury list.
What do you mean Keita with what he gonna do? I'll wait right here.
Listen,
Please don't bring Naby Keita to the party. You know that man there, yeah? You know now we're going out raving, yeah? And I want to say, yo, don't bring Naby. That's what Naby is. Don't listen. Nah, don't bring him, man. He'll never put his hand in his pocket. You know that man there who don't put their hand in their pocket. Or you say, when somebody sits around, you want to go to the toilet. You know that man there.
Oh my days.
Nah, don't bring that into the conversation about he's back, like he doing anything. Hey, what he doing?
I agree with you.
I've got a back now, man.
You know, we need to play that, but the new kid, the 17-year-old, Bijitic, I can't even say his name.
Yeah.
He was just playing. That boy is a baller. That's what
he was on the bench against Fulham.
Bench, yeah. I want to see more of him playing.
Yeah, I think honestly, I'm with KZ and Stony. You know,
don't.
You know, we all love Klopp. We all love the play. we got
don't bring it.
Oh,
no peace.
All right, so gentlemen. All right then. So does Klopp need to put his hand in his pocket then?
No. And you know what, Arti? The only reason why I say that, and this is just my opinion, right, at the moment. I think goalkeeper-wise, we're calm. Offensively, we're calm. Defenders-wise, we're calm. We are slim in the midfield. However, we've got Harvey Elliott and Fabio Carvalho that should be having an opportunity to play midfield. So man like Ox, man like Fab, people like Milner, people like Curtis Jones. Listen,
and Naby,
you know, and but as KB said, Cabby don't walk with no money when he leaves out his house. He goes to the club empty-handed.
And
I
Ox as
want to
well.
drink the most alcohol.
Stony, you're disrespectful now.
Nah, Ox as well. Forget about Ox.
He said, man, like Naby's the Scouse Fred.
Oh, wow. We got a troll tonight, man.
I didn't say that.
You know, I can't even argue with that, though. That's the problem. I can't even defend it. I can't.
Them man, I don't invite them man to my party. Like Naby and Ox, I wouldn't invite them man to my party.
Nah.
You know, you bring house party when the brother brought the toilet, neck like Mike Tyson. That's Ox. Ox smash up the toilet, neck like Mike Tyson. Who brought the
toilet? Ox would get into coming out the cab.
Who brought the toilet?
Trust me.
That nigga in the leather jacket.
No, he would. Ox would get injured putting his socks on, mate, getting dressed.
You know the way there.
He would. I want Ox gone. I want him gone.
But not in order. Him and Naby got to leave on free about work. Has Naby signed a new contract?
Nah, I think Naby might still can get a 10-15 mil for him. But
no, they've offered him a new contract, yeah, but I don't think it's improved terms. I don't think he'll sign it. I think he'll leave on a free next season.
Would you give him improved terms?
Of course not. Give him no terms.
He has to give us back money. That's what he needs to do.
Yeah. Well, you owe us, bro.
You know the way there. Maybe you can work for the canteen, start make 2 jollof. Be like Nunez and them man do. Be like the youngsters.
What is wrong with KB? What is wrong with you? Man said, do this from Sporting. We need to get him to too many cups, too many games. Harvey already had one big injury.
Oh boy! No, if we
can't be hanging around for Bellingham deal, we need that midfielder now.
Yeah, true. But we need that midfield.
So what? Tobrise, you saying we should spend now?
I think we should spend now, and literally, I'm not even talking about Jude. I'm talking about we can't rely on. And again, there's no disrespect to any elite player, but like we can't rely on Henderson. We can't rely on Milner. These are aging players. We've got one of the oldest squads now in the Premiership, and there's like nothing wrong buying now for medium to long term. But again, Fab's got a knock. Thiago's out for let's say 6 weeks, realistically, 6-7 weeks. And like Klopp doesn't favor Curtis Jones anyway, so
yeah, neither do I.
So literally, we can rule him out, and Ox and Nabs. We are going to be light. We are going to be light. So yeah, there's nothing wrong in for Liverpool to put their hand in the pocket right now and give Klopp some options in the middle of the pack.
The only reason why I don't think it's probably going to happen for now, Tobrise, and this is my own thinking of it, right? This is a World Cup season. A lot of the players that are probably established at their clubs that will be looking for that are elite aren't going to be looking to them. So I reckon if there is going to be any players for us to come, and we're just primarily looking at the midfield position, I can't see that happening until the new year. That's just my opinion. I can't see it happening.
No, I can't see it happening. I think Klopp's got his eye on Bellingham. It'll be interesting to see the fee that we want for him. But at the moment, if you get someone in at the moment and the transfer window closes, like your squad's unbalanced now. He will replace an injured player, but that injured player is going to come back. Now I know we're saying about Ox, you want Ox gone and you want Naby gone, but they're part of the squad. And if we get someone else in, it's just going to kind of mess the balance of the squad up. And I don't think they want that.
I mean, you got Ox and Naby are not giving you anything, and Jones come like a stripper. He just dancing, no end product. You know the man they just dance. Yeah, we're carrying them 3 players. For me, you got to play the youngsters. You got to play the youngsters. Because ain't no one going to buy no stripper.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Wait, I tell you what, I bet you someone like Southampton that would buy him.
Yeah, but what are they buying him for? What are they buying him for? To dance?
I don't care. As long as they put the coins in our pocket, I don't give a damn what you do with him. Just give us the bread, fam. Just give us the dunga. That's all I care about.
He's like a stripper. The man just dancing. Nothing I go on.
Bournemouth and them kind of teams will look at him. Maybe even a Brentford and all that, they'll look at him, mate. I don't care.
You don't provide assists. You don't provide goals.
Tobrise, question to you from Mr. B. He's saying, so who do you think we should buy as a centre midfield?
I've got three options. So James Ward-Prowse from Southampton. I think he would fit pretty nicely, into our squad.
See you later,
I am actually looking at players that are going to be part of a well-oiled machine, and literally, I think James Ward-Prowse literally has that quality.
I've only come back because I want to hear your other two. Go on.
Me too.
Declan Rice. I know that you guys will say certain things about Declan Rice, but Declan Rice.
Rice is a player. Rice is a player.
I'm telling you, I think he can succeed Henderson as the anchor within that Liverpool team. I think he's the best English box-to-box player in the Premiership.
Rice is a player. I can't argue with Rice. That boy's a player.
I think
80 mil they want for him. That's not going to work.
But I think 80 mil is a bargain. He will, he could easily play for, any of the top four for at least the next decade, 100%.
That's true stories. That's true stories.
And someone else, which again, he's not getting the game time now. It'd be quite interesting to see where his next move is. But Conor Gallagher, Conor Gallagher's proved himself at Palace, and I'm thinking, he's got a bit of everything. And again, he's kind of got the aggression, he's got the engine, he's got an eye for goal as well. Imagine him under Klopp. So there's three decent players, who have Premiership experience that can hit the ground running if need be.
I like one out of three. Rice, Gallagher. That don't make sense with the three youngsters we've got in our team already, who are of that same mold as far as I'm concerned.
No, but
I like Gallagher. I ain't gonna lie. I like Gallagher. Gallagher's a baller.
Not for me.
Sorry, the only reason why I said that, Tobrise, and I'll tell you why I said that about why I got up with James Ward-Prowse, because for me, other than real set pieces and that, he doesn't really do it for me. He doesn't cut it for me.
Me neither.
He doesn't boss a game. Doesn't run a game for me. Doesn't do it. But free set pieces and that, yeah.
I think Declan Rice is a fantastic addition.
And that's why he's in my fantasy team, because he can do that part. But as
Rice
on the park and running the game, nah. Declan Rice, for me, yeah, good baller and that. But another one as well, as they do, English hype, they always overrate these kind of ballers for me. But I do.
Rice is a footballer.
I think he's decent. I ain't gonna lie. But as Mr. B saying, he reckons they want 120 mil. Nah, I'd rather pay that for Bellingham, to be honest.
Yeah, I think I'd rather wait. And we've got good midfielders.
The Polish kid, Murilowski.
Oh, the little Polish kid. He's another one from our youth academy. Really good. Nice, short, low center of gravity. Eye for a pass. Got a good left foot. Is he left-footed? But he's a good footballer. But obviously, Klopp hasn't given him the breath yet, so he must not be ready.
Okay. How old is he, Stony?
You know what? I'm going to pass on that one. This is the one time that I'm going to hand it over to everyone.
I think it's about 17.
I'm unsure.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, gentlemen, Palace up next. What are we looking at now?
We're looking at performance. And that's what we ask for. Liverpool fans, we in recent years we've become this elite team because we wasn't this like coming up through the late 90s, early 2000s. This is the Jurgen Klopp era. It's been very successful in terms of performances and results and trophies. All we ever ask for is a performance, whether we win or lose. We just want a performance. We just want you to go out there and compete and show us that, you know, the badge means a lot to you as much as it means to us. That's all I ask for. I just want a performance.
So Palace at home, they said win probability is 81%, draws 13%, 6% for Palace to win.
I can only say Liverpool win, but I just want a performance.
At home, Palace, for me, they struggle to score goals. And they've lost Conor Gallagher. It's a big loss for them.
Did you come back to Chelsea?
We're supposed to win that game. Stony?
Yeah, I think I was I think anybody watching this show, you can probably go back over a year and see that any score prediction that I've ever made has always been incorrect. Okay. I'm consistent. Yeah, I'm consistent in that field, all right? But what I will say is probably similar to what you were saying as well, Arti, and what KV said. Not only that I want a performance, I want a result as well. I don't care if it hits the pigeon and goes in, as long as we actually get a result. Whatever team selection Klopp puts out, I'm confident that it will be correct. But yeah, good performance, but more importantly, I just want to win. I don't mind who actually gets put out on the field.
Okay. And Tobrise, how are we going to do against Palace?
I mean, I'm sure that we're going to play better than we did against Fulham. I think we need to win purely to put a bit of pressure on Manchester City. Exactly. Now, I don't care how the ball goes in. If it's a beach ball, I don't care. As long as
Jesus, remember that.
As long as it goes in, I know, innit? You know, thinking about it, again, kind of digressing a little bit. I can't believe that goal stood. But anyway,
that was disgusting.
Yeah, that was mad. But yeah, I mean, I'm literally expecting a really good reaction. First home game. But also, we need to win. We really need those 3 points.
Predz?
They've got no choice but to react in the way that they need to react. If we don't react and if we don't have a good reaction, trust me, Palace is going to hurt us.
It'll be a long season.
If you think about it, Palace had 57 to 58% possession against Arsenal on the other day. They're big, they're strong, they're athletic, and their middle three will cause trouble. So if we don't react and play and bring out a performance, I'm a bit fearful that Palace might do us.
Okay. Wade Ashley Price, well done for joining us, pal. He's saying Liverpool 3-0. Mark saying against Palace, I want us to be a lot quicker in the gameplay and get the ball to the front three a lot quicker. And to Harvey, Fabinho, Carvalho, midfielder, we got young pace. Okay. Mr. B saying 4-1 Liverpool. Salah hat-trick.
Salah must be on the run. Yeah, Salah scored in the last few appearances against Palace. Salah scored 7 and made 4 assists against Palace.
Looking forward to Monday. Big night ahead after a shocking start that I still can't believe. I just hope that the result does not affect anything. Okay. See, look, I'm still laughing at that.
Why are people hating on Ward at Prowse? Honestly, if you can watch his movement and again, don't forget he's playing in a very poor Southampton team, and
that's why he can look good.
Well, I mean, how I see it is that
that's why he can look good.
No, but
if best of a bad bunch.
But if you're the kind of catalyst and the main focal play in the middle of the park, that's literally kept Southampton in the Premiership. Imagine him with better players. He will only excel. And people said that about David Beckham, like, he's very one-dimensional. But when he kind of went to Real Madrid, like he kind of took it up like a kind of 2 or 3 levels. Why can't James do it with Liverpool? We have the best coach that actually builds up players and kind of literally believes in players that he signs. Why can't you do the same with James Ward-Prowse?
It's the B saying it, one trick pony. Gallagher will bring the energy, replace Henderson, but hope Chelsea don't sell. As he's a Chelsea fan, he knows. So it's a good trick, but still only one. Yeah, for me, I don't know. The jury's still out for me on Ward-Prowse as an all-round player. From what I've seen, the jury's still out for me. So, gentlemen, I'm going to go for 3-1. Liverpool win. We need goals. I think we will get a performance because I don't think Klopp will be having it. He's going to get at them. He'll have had words. And I think, hopefully, because of the injuries, that maybe someone like Elliot or Carvalho will get a start as well. Add that little bit of skill, that little bit of trickery that was missing. So yeah, make that bit of a difference. So I'm gonna go for 3-1 Liverpool. Nunez to bag a brace. Salah to get one. So
2-0.
Monday night football, lads. It's all about Monday. Smart saying 5-0. First home win. Up the Predz. All right, Mark. Calm down, son. Calm down.
We did not see last Saturday.
But yeah, so we will try and put out a show on Monday night after the game.
Cool.
I'll be available for that.
Yeah, so will I.
I'm finishing work a bit early, so I'll get to watch the game and I'll be up for it. So if you're up for it, we'll do a reaction show straight after the game, gentlemen.
Cool.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
And we are going to as well through the season watch, gentlemen. I do want you to keep your eye closely on James Ward-Prowse and let me know what you think. If you got them fancy Sky buttons and that, press that player cam on James Ward-Prowse.
No, listen. Let's be real.
Camera won't go that far. Don't worry about it.
No, but
go about 20 meters in a circle.
Let's be honest. Henderson technically isn't like one of the best midfielders in the Premiership, but literally what he brings, and again, people say that Henderson is kind of a one-trick pony, in terms of his engine and he's kind of got that little sideways, kind of inside right pass, and we've like seen that how many times throughout his like career. And now, we kind of laud him as like, as like one of like the best Liverpool players or captains that we've like ever seen. So we also have to look at players that can fit into a system, like Darren Fletcher at United. He wasn't technically the best, but he was perfect for that system. And especially now for Liverpool.
I was saying good night, Darren Fletcher.
Them man like Tobrise,
Bro.
The man there talk the way out of a date. The way they be on the doorstep.
What's his name? Gibson.
She telling you, listen, are you gonna come with a cup of tea? Man, start talking about James Ward-Prowse. Tobrise, are you okay, bro?
What was that other guy that Man United had, the other midfielder, something Gibson? Please, I beg you.
Darren Gibson.
Was it Darren as well?
Yes.
Darren Gibson.
I beg you.
Tobrise, you okay, bro? You're looking a bit stressed.
Well, listen, like, let's not front. Yeah, when like United were in their pomp, yeah, Darren Fletcher was probably one of the first names on the team. And how many goals did Darren Fletcher score against Liverpool? He's got a few.
He was one of the first.
So did Danny Murphy.
What, in front of Keane, Scholes, and who?
It was
Hart.
Yeah, Darren Fletcher was a was a cog in that, United team. 100%. 100%. Definitely.
On that note, we'll say.
Help me out, guys.
Tobrise, you okay?
Tobrise, I'm trying to help you out here, bro, but I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I don't know.
Listen, in the great words of my grandfather, yeah, more saying, yeah, ukapale sakwe sana boy, eh? It is manger.
Listen, it's just a good thing that Tobrise is not manager of LFC. The kind of ballers that we would have down there, he'd be doing a Graham Souness on us, like
Konchesky,
getting players like
Paulson,
all that down there. You know what I mean?
Bruno Cheru. Hey, do you remember this one? Yeah? Remember this one? The Croatian Zidane, Igor Biscan, the ugliest guy you ever see on the pitch. Man, he was butters, boy. Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
Oh, you guys are funny.
Yeah,
you guys are
please. Funny. Anyway, gentlemen, thank you very much. It's been a blast. Do remember, like, share, subscribe. It's all about Kop Talk. We are guaranteed to be here on a Thursday night at 10 o'clock, but we will be doing reaction shows, people. So if you're subscribed, you won't miss it. Simple as that. Mr. JP, congratulations once again, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Mr.
Sitting work.
Thank you very much for having me, son. Still waiting for my top, by the way, but yeah, we'll speak.
Yeah, it's on its way, man. It's on its way, man. Don't worry. But anyway.
Fuck's sake.
Hey, I'm not
Stony.
It's my son.
All the way out of town, but he's still joining us. Well done, Stony. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Let's up, Stony.
Mr. R&B, I'm not sure if you've got a twin brother and you've sent the wrong one on today.
Yeah, I don't know what he's. You okay, bro?
I'm not sure.
Darren Fletcher. And,
yeah.
I don't know. So I don't know. I think you need a hug.
Yeah.
Tobrise,
with that tune, I Need Love.
What's your TikTok followers say about that, Tobrise?
Sorry?
What's your TikTok followers say about that?
My TikTok followers, no one's really said anything.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Yeah, but they're in shock. They're in shock, mate. Anyway, people, remember, good night, God bless, and thank you very much.